humanity is slowly going insane. You probably feel it. I think we all feel it. From the rising absurdity of life and world events to the predominance of social media and AI takeover, which makes everything seems kind of fake, to the furthering gap between man and nature and even between us fellow humans. The world is a super weird place right now. And it's very easy to be stuck in these loops of these cycles of despair, numbness, and I don't give a fuck anymore attitude. But all is not lost. I'm here to tell you that all is not lost and to share 5 habits and mindset changes that will help you keep your sanity in an increasingly insane world. The first mindset change is to think that life is good, but more than being good, life is fascinating. And why do I say this? Because we often focus too much on the feeling of being happy. And being happy, if you think about it, is something that is mostly externally controlled. You will notice that most of the time when you feel happy, it's because someone did something or someone said something or something happened to you or you got something or you lost something. Something external happened that made you feel happy. And while that feeling is good, it's not something that you really control and that really lasts in a sense, and that you can rely on your fulfillment on. The one thing that you control though is your perception of life. And life is fascinating. Everywhere I look around me, there's some marvel, some wonderful thing happening, whether it's a flower, a bird, the sound of the wind, children laughing, people crying, couples, friends, the sea, noise. There's always something fascinating, something interesting, something marvelous happening. And it really has to do with your capacity to look out for it and to notice it. It's not that those things are inherently good or bad, it's just that they're fascinating. That life manifests itself in this intricate, complex, and infinite ways, and I'm here to witness it all. And what a privilege that is. I'm so grateful every day to be here to experience all of those marvels and life in all of its different forms, no matter whether they're good or bad. Because regardless of that, it's always fascinating. The second thing goes hand in hand with the first one, and it is the habit to go out in nature more often. No matter how basic it seems, time does move differently for other beings. We are often stuck in this pace of humans, and we forget that the pace of humans, the time frame of humans, is an inherently mental driven time. And there are a lot of other time frames and timelines happening around us that really ground us, especially nature ones. So I often say that my favorite beings after humans are trees, because they have this inherent slowness that feels very grounding. Nature has this way of pulling us back to our center, to our roots, to this inherent slow time that as part of this earth we all have. So go out in nature more often, go in walks, go just to your park, to the forest, to the sea, to wherever you can, to just observe life unfolding around you, to be synced in with your inner timeline that is beyond the human societal timeline of the go, go, go mentality of the always having to do something. When you are in nature, you feel as if you don't even need to do anything to be a part of it, because you are instantly kind of embraced by the trees and by the animals and by the earth that is surrounding you. The third practice would be not to consume any media or low vibration content. What do I mean by low vibration content or media? You have the very obvious ones, like this songs and movies and videos that are super aggressive, then have these themes of extreme violence, aggressiveness, sexually, like very heavily sexually explicit contents. Um, just those are the obvious ones, right? Like the horror movies and all of those things. That's the obvious part. But then you also have those other types of content of media that are not inherently low vibration, in the sense of they're not actively propagating bad a negative message, but they still don't keep me in my most joyful and inherent at peace state. And those would be what would be a good example? For example, if you know Lil Peep, like the rapper, blah blah blah, and that guy, he used to do this super melancholic, drug themed songs, melancholic, nostalgic, sad, kind of depressive songs that sometimes would be a vibe, but I would catch myself listening to that on a regular basis, and I would notice how that would influence my mental state, how that would instantly put me in a much more nostalgic and melancholic state, despite the fact that my life was going absolutely great. So of course there is the good sense rule here. There's a time and a place for everything, but I try not to consume as much as I used to those songs that have that, not just the negative ones, but the ones that kind of pull me back a little bit. And it goes without saying that social media is kind of to be avoided, honestly. Of course, again, you could use it sparingly, you could use it in a conscious way, but do you really think that's... So, being honest with yourself, what type of content are you consuming on social media? And I mean social media. YouTube kind of has, to me, is the exception. But Instagram, TikTok, all of that, how much of what you're watching is actually good content and is actually lifting you up and is actually contributing to a high vibration state, to a state where you feel like, after you watch all of those videos, you feel like this exhalation of bliss and of existential joy. How often does that happen? And for those who say, but it helps me keep track of my friends' lives and la, do you really need to watch your friend's story to know how they are doing? Except if it's someone that is living abroad or something like that. Do you really need to watch your friend's Instagram? Just food for thought. But yeah, I try to be as rigorous as possible into what I consume consciously, because then it influences massively my unconscious and therefore how my overall state of life is. The fourth practice is to sing, laugh, dance, play often. Life is really not that serious. It's not as serious as we make it to be. And life is meant to be enjoyed. So even amidst the struggle, even amidst the challenge that you put yourself through because you want to achieve things, that is great. And you want to achieve things, you have an ambition, that's amazing. But don't forget that the process of going through it is supposed to be not even necessarily enjoyable, but I've tried to, as much as I possibly can, to see it as kind of this game that I'm playing, and to see my advancements in life as this kind of milestones and these checkpoints that I'm fulfilling and that I get to play with a bit. I'm guilty, and I think many of us are, of putting a lot of pressure on myself, of feeling as if I have to achieve these things by this age and blah blah blah. And that's fine. You can achieve, you should, I think it's normal, you should want to achieve certain things by certain ages or at a given time frame, it doesn't matter. But that doesn't have anything to do with the mentality that you have whilst achieving them, if you know what I mean. You can still see it as play. You can play with it a bit. We are expected to be these super serious adults once you reach a certain age, but life is not serious. Life is a game, really. Like when you realize that you can do whatever you want with it, and you really can live. And I'm not even saying you can do whatever you want, but you can live it. While you are doing it, you can do it however you want. Once you unlock that idea, life becomes just so much lighter and easier and fun. And not just that things are not that serious, things are not that personal. We often end up taking things and offenses and drawbacks super personal, like I am the worst person ever, and this thing was against me, and this person has a thing against me, and this person hates me, and blah blah. People don't think about you that much. You are the person that thinks about you the most. And even if they laugh about it, even if they joke about you, so what? You do the same to them. So is it really that bad? Are things meant to be taken that personally? No. And struggle, as I just said, try to see struggle as a part of the game, because it is a game. Struggle, I try to see it for the most part as an intrinsic part of this existence, not something to be avoided, but something that I get to play with. I get to fall and to make mistakes, and I try to see it as much as possible as, this is so interesting. What the hell am I doing right now? I just completely fucked up this thing. Wow, fascinating. And when you get the habit of joking at your actions, joking at yourself, laughing at yourself, and being in awe of your unknowingness, of the fact that you don't know what you're doing, I think it kind of takes a weight off your shoulder, and it becomes overall a lot more enjoyable. And it doesn't matter whether, in the end, you will want to be winning, but when you look at it at the great scale of things, when you look back at the things that you failed, do they still really feel like failures, or do they just feel like an important, crucial part of your life trajectory that got you exactly where you were? So might as well, and I think that's the case for everything that we do. So might as well enjoy it while we are at it. And the fifth and final habit would be to surround yourself with people who reflect your energy and your joy and your excitement of life back at you. Though all of this is possible on your own, and I would even argue that sometimes it is even easier on your own, on the grand scale of things of life, it's so much easier and fun if you have people that surround you that are reflecting and are actively trying to contribute to that energy of yours without even trying, but that just because of the way they are, they naturally enhance your willingness to see the excitement and the marvel of life in every aspect of life. Find people with whom you can laugh, with whom you can play, who don't take your bullshit personally often, because they understand that more often than not, the things that we do that hurt people are just a reflection of our own incapacity to think beyond ourselves, that it's not an active act against them, it's an active act against you mostly, and that it just ends up reflecting on people. I really believe that there are very few bad people. People are just confused and scared and insecure, and I don't know what they're doing for the most part. So find people that don't take your shit that personally, but will call you out for your best interests when necessary. The second thing on this section is to open yourself up to all kinds of people. Human marvel, and I really am saying this word a lot, marvel, but I love it. But human marvel exists in all shapes and forms. Try to go beyond the identities of this person is this or this person is that. This person has this mentality, therefore I cannot interact with it. This person lives life this way, therefore I cannot be with this person. Deep down, we are all the same, and superficially, we are different. And it's curious to see how superficially such different people end up living the same lives and end up having the exact same goals and wishes in life. And you never know which wise word, which wise advice you might hear from someone completely different from you. And often it will be those people. I have found for my life that the best advice that I've gotten was from people, from random strangers in life, from people that have no agenda whatsoever over me, that don't know me, that don't want anything to do with me even, because they give the best, I guess, impartial and objective advice, because they have no wishes, no personal wishes for my existence, for how I exist in their lives. And it all has to do with the way you accept people to come into your life, with how open you are to random humans so different from me that I would have never thought I could even have a conversation with. Those end up being the most life-changing conversations that I ever had. So the conclusion here would be to be open to the human marvel, to the world marvel that comes into your life in all shapes and forms. Be attentive to the life that is happening around you, to the fascination that is this existence that we get to live every day, regardless of whether it's a sad, a happy, a confusing, a angry, an irritating, frustrating moment. It is all fascinating as it is unfolding right before our eyes.